welcome to the Live in Korea podcast, let me just check the music or the sound quickly before we start getting into the chitty chatty, because my computer is telling me that the sound is not very good. So that the sound is не понимаю, я не знаю. Everything's fine. Alrighty. Right. Okay. Where was we? So since we're here, yeah. And go. The Live in Korea, 151st episode of the Live in Korea podcast, It's the 14th of March today. White Day, everybody. I hope everybody celebrated the fantastic day of whitenessness. For those who are tuning in for the first time or are new to Korean culture, White Day is the day on which men. It's the opposite of. I guess Valentine's Day, a day on which men are supposed to give out candies to the women. In Korea, women give out candies and chocolates to men on Valentine's Day, and men reciprocate that on White Day, which is today. It's also, I was told, it's Pi Day, and in case you're wondering what it is, it's 3/14. So hence Pi Day. Anyway, the Live in Korea podcast is a podcast in which I talk about anything and everything related to living and working in South Korea. And occasionally in the past have been known to do very interesting interviews with some very fantastic, interesting people, which I have not done in a very long time, simply because I don't have the time to chase people down and get them prepped and ready for the interview. Nobody's taking the bait. I used to do a lot more work on that, and just recently I haven't done. So hopefully that will change with your help. Hopefully spread the love, share, make sure to smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and then hopefully the channel will grow and I'll have more time to devote to it, because then there will be some kind of revenue from my work here. What's on the menu today? Afghan children find it hard to adapt to life in Ulsan. We're going to talk about that. That's the main topic here. We're going to dig up some dirt on the people involved. And we have a new president. Mr. Yoon Suk-yeol took office today, I guess. Was that right? So we'll talk a little bit about that, what to expect, and then we'll slide into some other interesting tidbits and news of what's going on in the beautiful country of South Korea. But I hope everybody had a nice wet weekend. Here in Ulsan it was a bit drizzly, but weather is warming up, so that's nice. I don't know what it's like up in Seoul, further up north, but down here in the south we've had temperatures of 17 degrees the past week, which was splendid, man. I was really enjoying that. So very nice. But okay, so the story. Oh, wait. Before I botch it up again, we're gonna start off with parking bashing. It's been 2 weeks. Since I went into the failed parking in South Korea group, simply because I forgot to mention it last week. So we're here on, so that just means there's more to look at this week around. So this Beamer obviously completely missed its mark parking here, but I guess that was too difficult to back out and then back in and park properly. So they, parking failed. This dude, I have no idea who parked first, but I've seen stuff like that before. So here's a car parked in the street, obviously, and then there's a car in front of him blocking the exit, so this guy is not going to come out. But good thing in Korea is that almost every single car has a phone number listed on their windshield, which means that you can call the car owner, buzz him quickly and tell him to move their keister out of the way. So that's kind of cool, yeah. Not sure what's happening here, these guys, the arrows, but this guy is like blatantly parked in a handicap spot right here. This guy missed his mark completely. He's parked on the line instead of next to the curb. And these two, not sure. But somebody, whoever posted it, had some beef with these guys. This is again the same car that was just, I think it's the same area. Yeah, that's it. That's the same car. So I guess an angry woman was making a phone call. Check out this this wisecracker. This dude, how he managed to squeeze himself into this spot is beyond me. Like, this is the main entrance to an apartment building. Shocking. Not sure. I guess, I don't know, are these guys moving? Maybe they're movers. That's probably it. They squeezed in to make it easier for them to carry the whatever the heck is they're carrying off the bongo of the truck into the apartment building. So they probably stood there for a little while and then moved on. This is a cars parked in a no parking zone. This happens quite often on the weekends. I'm pretty sure I've done it a million times. Well, maybe not a million times, but plenty times enough. On Saturdays, Sundays, these signs are more of a suggestion. I'm not even sure that you get towed. Cities like Busan and Seoul, the larger cities, will be very uptight and very meticulous about towing cars. But in places like Ulsan, things are still pretty lenient. I've never been towed in Ulsan. I've never seen anybody getting towed in Ulsan. I've never heard of anybody getting towed in Ulsan. So things are not that horrible in Ulsan just yet. How did I skip? Okay. This dude parked on the sidewalk. Fantastic. He's like halfway on the sidewalk and halfway in the street. Just couldn't make up his damn mind. Make up your damn mind, boy. Yeah. So, yeah, that's not uncommon. But to be in all fairness, these may be, what are these? I don't know, hazard lights. So, okay, so this person, you know, if you're new here, then, you know, remember, this is Korea. Oh, also, make sure to smash up the likes and subscribe to the channel. But in Korea, if you've got hazards, everything's forgiven. As soon as you start breaking laws or you know that you're about to break some laws, just flip on your hazards and you're good to go, man. This dude right here parked on a street corner, I guess. This often happens. My guess is that this person is moving out of the parking in the, you know, in front of a convenience store, in front of a store of some kind. And they were parked on the sidewalk, and now they're moving out onto the road because that's where you should be in the first place. But, you know, occasionally you got to take advantage of the free parking on the sidewalk when there aren't any bypassers or pedestrians, rather. This is a brilliant one. The comment on this picture was that the scooter has been parked for several hours while the person was having breakfast. My question was, where the heck are you living? Is this your window? This is your house window, and your view is right onto this busy street? That's an interesting apartment, because I assume that your other window is facing directly that busy street. To me, it's a bit, I don't know, absurd to build apartment blocks like that. But in any case, the scooter parked for a while. That's not it. That's a different picture. Yeah, all right, where's the chat? Chat, anybody in the chat section? Nobody here. Nobody in the chat section. Okay, we're moving on to the issue at hand. The issue at hand. This is something I wanted to talk about because this is so a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, I can't remember. It's been a while ago. It's been a while. There's a number of refugees, or not refugees really, but Afghani families that have resettled to South Korea, and about 150 of them, I think, 150 people resettled to the city of Ulsan. And there was a problem, or there was an issue with a certain school of which name was undisclosed for the time being. Today we know that it is the Seoboo Elementary School. This is it. This is the school. Seoboo Cho등학교 Seoboo Elementary School, located in Bangojin, which is basically where the HHI district is located, and Hyundai Heavy Industries and shipbuilding and everything else is located, and where the families have found jobs. And so the school is in that vicinity, And so a while ago, some parents were protesting the admittance of children in the school, and well, this was prior to the beginning of the school year, which, you know, could have been resolved easily by simply dismissing the parents and having the kids admitted. But unfortunately, Afghan children find it hard to adapt to life in Ulsan. Not only are they basically kids that were partially torn away from their, native stomping grounds in Afghanistan, they've been thrown into a culture that is very homogenous. And can be quite racist at times and unwelcoming. As hard as it is to say, because most Koreans are very warm and you know, kind-hearted people. So when you encounter situations like this, it's it's kind of a shocker. Ulsan, while students in Seoboo Elementary School in Ulsan headed to classes on the first day of the spring semester on March 2nd, 9-year-old Zainab from Afghanistan, who moved to the southeastern port city last month, had to stay home. Ms. RC, oh hello Ms. RC, chat section quickly here. 150 adults and 250 kids. Okay, thank you very much. Are they all in Ulsan, I wonder? I can't remember. There's a little video here that I would like to play in a little bit. It's a 7-minute video, but I think it's worth playing it because it's pertinent and it's important. Who moved to the southeast port? Switch over. So these people moved to the southern port city last month, had to stay at home. The girl, I assume that's a girl, I don't know, Zainab, no idea. Yeah, she asked her parents when she would be able to join her peers at school, but neither of them gave her a clear answer, which left the girl more puzzled. Her father, Gul, could not tell his daughter the truth due to fierce protests from their Korean neighbors. It remains unclear when Zainab would be able to attend the public school. Zainab is not alone. In fact, she is among 28 Afghan children in Ulsan who could not make it to school on the first day after vacation. They settled in their new homes in early February after their parents found jobs at a subcontractor for shipbuilder Hyundai Heavy Industries based on the port city name, some 300 kilometers from Seoul. In case you're not aware how this works, for the longest part, or at least most of the people working at HHI or many of the other big companies, the conglomerates here located in Ulsan, are not actually full-time employees of the companies. A lot of the companies hire subcontractors because it's a lot cheaper for them to do it, and you know, this way, when it comes to safety issues and such, the subcontractors have to take care of that. So the company is not really responsible, not so much responsible for the safety of these workers, but rather the subcontractors are. So if something happens, if there are any accidents, I'm sure that there's some kind of liability that the company, HHI or whatever, Samsung, or not Samsung, sorry, HHI or S-Oil or whatever other, you know, oil refinery that happens to be here. But for the most part, the subcontractor is the one who is employing the people, and the company, the bigger company, is employing the subcontractor. Therefore, you know, the responsibility and liability falls on the subcontractor more so. In August of last year, 391 Afghans, 156 adults and 235 children who were designated as special contributors by the Korean government were airlifted to the country after their homeland fell into the hands of the Taliban. And I'm going to talk about, I'm going to play the video in a little bit, which explains what it means, you know, what subcontractors mean. After completing a 6-month social integration program in Jincheon, so it's not like these people just were dropped off in Ulsan and, you know, were told to go and find themselves some apartments. They were here for some time, namely 6 months, prior to moving to Ulsan, yeah? North Chungcheong province and Yeosu in South Jeolla province. 157 of them resettled in Dong district in Ulsan. So this is the entire number of people who landed here, and 157 of these people moved to Ulsan. Yeah. As elementary school admission in Korea is determined by a child's home address, the children aged between 7 and 12 were set to begin their school life in Seoboo Elementary School. However, some parents of the school have been protesting against the government's unilateral decision to move the Afghan evacuees to their region, as well as allocating their children to the school. I think it's completely despicable. It's sickening to see these parents, and I think that, you know, locals and anybody else should be shaming the hell out of them. I personally went over and typed in on YouTube, I typed in Seoboo, the school's name, and a video popped up by, I don't know by whom. There's some channel with like 3 subscribers, and they've got a few videos of the school banned. But I just made a comment saying, this is the school of the parents that basically, you know, didn't want the Afghani children in the school. And I think these people should be made aware of the fact that the expat community is watching and that we know what's going on, because I think it's disgusting. You know, they make excuses. The excuses were in the vicinity of, oh, these children are not, they don't speak Korean, and many of them don't speak English. They don't understand the Korean culture. Therefore, they'll have a hard time fitting in, you know, falling into place and whatever in the Korean culture, which is absolute crap, because, you know, it's just a wishy-washy way of saying, of being blatantly racist. We don't want them here, right? So on February 17th, the angered parents organized a press conference calling on the city government to retract the decision. They held placards reading, "Come up with measures to send our children to school in peace," as if, what? Having Afghani children or other children will make it less peaceful, and consider sending them to international school. International schools in Korea are paid private schools, while obviously public schools are public schools, and the expenses are covered by the government, right? So the government is not going to be dishing up whatever it is, their $20-something thousand per person to send them to public school. Their presence being unwelcomed in the local community has made the Afghan evacuees become extremely anxious about their future. Clearly, right? So here's a video. Let me just play that for you because I think it's important. So let's have a quick look. It's a 7-minute video. I'll share that with you as soon as I...
400 Afghans landed at South Korea's Incheon airport. These people, who arrived in South Korea under the status of special contributors, were Afghans who had worked at the South Korean embassy and other Korean agencies. Among them, 157 evacuees have now settled in the southeastern industrial city of Ulsan to work for Hyundai Heavy Industries. Even though they have left everything behind in Afghanistan, their homes lost and dreams buried, they're trying hard to build home here in Korea and start a better life.
My family, we are 6 persons, my wife, 4 children, and me. Around 30 people. We were working in background Korean hospital. It was a military hospital inside the military base. Yeah, we were working with Korean medical team. My wife got cesarean section operation a week before. Just she was discharging from the hospital, and then I came to home and just tell him, wake up, get up, and we are escaping. I put all our property, my car, my home, and everything left behind. And I hope the community, Korean, Ulsan, especially Ulsan, the parents, they should know our situation, that how bad feel we have when we remember our home. My wife, every night she cries. But now we are, at least I feel that we are blessed that we are here. We hope a good future for our children here. We are working so hardly that our child should have a good future here, a good education.
However, Korea is a largely homogenous society, and public sentiment towards refugees still remains predominantly negative. Among the Afghans settling in Ulsan, 85 are school-age children. When some parents of the students of Seoboo Elementary School in Ulsan heard 27 kids from Afghanistan will be going to school with their children, they voiced strong opposition for various reasons.
I don't know exactly the reason, but I heard some school parents had some protest. Or now they cannot join with our children. No, we didn't tell them. No. It's not good to tell them, yeah. Every day they're asking, Mom, when we can go to school, and they miss their school and they need education, and their children, they have the right to receive some education.
저희들이 듣기로는 이제 지역 부동산 카페 중심으로 해가지고 이런 문화가 이제 우려가 터져 나왔고 확산된 걸로 알고 있거든요. 혹시나 이제 이런 친구들 오게 되면은 우리 아파트의 어떤 자산 가치가 하락하지 않느냐 이런 얘기들도 한편으로 있었고, 그들이 단순하게 이슬람이라는 종교를 가졌기 때문에 무슬림이 우리 때문에 반대하는 것들이 굉장히 많지 않을까 싶습니다. 그러면서 우리 사회가 이슬람에 대한, 무슬림에 대한 좀 왜곡된 정보들, 탈레반과 또 일반적인 무슬림하고도 구분하지 못하는 부분들도 없지 않아 있다고 생각하거든요.
There is some miscommunication. They don't have, the parents who have some protests, they don't have enough information regarding us. We were the people that we were working with Korean friends, with Korean government long time in Afghanistan. We are with a high education. All our friends are from medical team. They are doctors, nurses. So we are not the people that we will be dangerous.
What I find it's shocking, the Korean officials said that people were concerned that the real estate prices would fall because of an influx of refugees. It's not. First of all, it's not an influx. It's 150 people, 23 children that would be able to go to schools, and the fact that you people are just despicably talking about falling prices, it's sickening. And then also, of course, there's a fear of Islam, and the sheer lack of awareness, the stupidity that goes along with it, the ignorance is just mind-blowing. And I honestly blame it on the people living in the industrial complex. Like, these are just working people who are completely they're just uneducated. That's what I want to say. It feels like these people need a lot more education. These are probably the same parents that are talking about, that expect miracles when they send their kids to language schools, and within the next 2 weeks they call up the school complaining that their children are not speaking they're not speaking English fast enough, because they're completely clueless. They have no idea about what it's like to be a parent. They have no idea what it's like to be from a country that has been, decimated by conflict, internal conflict. And they have no idea, apparently, what it's like to be a parent of a child who is neglected now due to a, failure of the system to provide sufficient education. And I think a lot of the blame needs to be put on the Korean government of mishandling it, and particularly the freaking school. Because, in the end, the school has the power to overrule the parents. The parents do not run the education system, do they? If you're not happy with it, take your goddamn children out and send them somewhere else. And I bet they would, but they can't.
Our children are really young. They don't know about religion. When they don't know. In my religion, I pray for Korea, for Korean people, prosperity. Our religion is not dangerous. Some bad people, they misuse the name of religion, the name of Islam or something else in any other countries. But, it is not something that they should worry about. That we are just the normal human, and we respect their beliefs, we respect the law.
We talked to the parents to listen to their side of the story.
네, 종교 관련해서는 크게 있잖아요. 이슈로 되거나 막 그렇게 되진 않고, 이제 한국어 자체가 거의 안 된다고 얘기하고, 그다음에 영어도 안 된다고 알고 있거든요. 언어 부분 소통을 해야 되는 부분이 큰데, 그게 안 됐을 때 오는 이제 문제점, 이게 좀 크다고 생각합니다.
See that bullshit right there. What clashes, what problems would be caused by a lack of language, man? Kids are kids, they would pick it up. The only problems that are caused by kids is them being racist based on their parental racism and how parents bring them up. Children are, judgmental, and they point fingers and call people the way the parents do it. That's what it is. So a lack of education, first of all, comes from the parental units. If you don't teach your kids how to behave around other children, then that's what you will get. So having stupid excuses like that, it's infuriating, man. I get really upset.
양도만 생각한다. 그 외에 정치적이거나 종교적이거나 이제 그런 부분들은 저희는 일체 언급하거나 고려하고 있지 않습니다.
기여자분들 오신다고 이제 얘기 들은 게 기사를 통해서 접했거든요. 알게 된 지 3일 만에 들어오시게 된 거예요. 낯설잖아요. 둘 다 서로 낯서니까 좀 알아갈 시간이 필요한 것 같은데 저희가 뭐 의도하지 않게 또는 그 아이들이 의도하지 않은 부분에 있어가지고 혹시나 충돌이 일어날까 그런 부분들이 좀 걱정은 되는 거죠. 아무런 준비도 없이 그냥 이렇게 통보식으로 이렇게 받아가지고 조금 많이 당황했죠.
어떻게 보면은 직장하고 가까운 지역으로 이제 정착을 한 거잖아요.
네, 그렇죠.
네, 그런 과정에서 사실 뭐 지역사회 제가 사전에 뭐 주민 동의를 구한다고 사실 뭐 그런 거는 사실 없었죠. 중요한 건 취업이었고
네.
한국어 교육을 일단 1차적으로 했고 그다음에 한국 문화 이해에 대한 교육도 6개월 동안 저희가 계속해서 진행을
Right there, right there. They have taken foreign and culture, Korean government-run programs on Korean language and culture for 6 months since they arrived in Korea. And so again, that right there is a slap in the face of these parents that are saying that these kids have no exposure to Korea and stuff like that. Because chances are they speak a little bit of Korean after 6 months. And if you throw them into an environment that is forcing them to use the Korean that they've learned so far, they would pick it up within a year, they'd be fluent.
했었거든요. 뭐 정착이 이루어질 거라고 저희는 이제 판단을 한 거죠. 네.
아니 제가 설명회도 했고요.
네.
교육감님 직접 학교 찾아가셔서 설명회도 하셨고.
네.
근데 이제 뭐 이분들이 공적으로 원하는 거는
네.
일정 기간 밖에서 애들 다 이렇게 좀 한국 문화나 한국어를 적응시켜서
네.
이제 들어와라 이런
네.
표현이다 보니까 우리나라 국민하고 동일하게 교육을 받을 권리가 있거든요.
아, 법적으로 그렇다고.
그렇죠.
말씀이시죠?
예, 예. 근데 이분들이 학교 오고 싶다는데 학교 못 들어가게 막는 거는 이 교육청의 그게 아니지 않습니까? 그렇죠?
문제가 생기든 부딪혀서 잘 적응해라 라고 하는 얘기랑 똑같은 거거든요. 저희는 공교육에서 이 아이들이 배제돼야 된다고 얘기한 적 한 번도 없어요. 서부초에 이제 저기를 두고 용화가 되면 나중에 이제 일반 학급으로 넘어올 수 있는 이제 그런 방안들이라든가 좋은 방안들을 학부모님들이 많이 제시를 하고 있고.
이 아이들 왔을 때 주민들도 그렇고
I want to know if there were ever any problems with such problems with any other expats coming here, and I'm talking about non-Muslims and and wider residents, because there's plenty of kids who have arrived here in South Korea who didn't speak a lick of English, and granted, many of them went to international schools, but not because of the schools denying them entry, but rather because, for example, like if you're an engineer and you're coming here to South Korea and you're working for HHI will pay to have your kids sent into the international school. So HHI will cough up the $20,000 or $25,000 a year so that your kids can go to the international school. That is not the case for these people, but there are plenty of other expats who arrived here and their kids go to regular schools, and I've never even heard of schools making complaints like that. The only thing that there is always a complaint is the population. It's the people who are so freaking afraid of newness and having someone who is not Korean around them, right? That's what it is. And I guess it just goes back to Korea being the hermit kingdom for so long. The mentality is still there. Korea is supposed to be a developed country, apparently now, but it's still so backwards in so many ways. So many people are.
학부모도 다 도와줘야 된다고 생각을 하거든요. 근데 행정 자체가 이런 식으로 밀고 들어오면 과연 우리가 잘 융화가 될 수 있을까? 이 아이들이 또 잘 정착할 수 있을까? 우리가 이 아이들을 잘 받아들이고 또 잘 이 문화들을 배울 수 있을까 하는 의구심이 되게 많이 들어요.
This woman herself, she's a kid. What is she, like 35? Clueless and stupid. I don't even watch it. I just get too upset, man. Let's see. Lisa, what does Lisa have to say? Lisa, please save me from this because I'm gonna explode in a second. Wait, where is Lisa? Hey, Lisa, welcome to the podcast. Where's my chat? Transition. Oh, are we in chat? Okay. How despicable. They should be welcomed. I bet local parents would be thrilled if the kids could help their children with English. It's so sad. Kids are good and at adapting in new situations. Absolutely, man. And this woman is just disgusting, man. I can't even listen to this. I attached the video. I think the link below the video. So if you are interested in reading the article, go ahead and find it below the video. You can find that there. All right, moving on. My goodness, because COVID. Let's go to COVID, man. That'll clear our minds, or my mind at least. South Korea's new COVID-19 vaccines above 3,000 cases, above 300,000, 3 days Omicron rages. I don't know if you've noticed, but from where I'm sitting, man, when Delta hit, I didn't hear anybody. There was no. The only people getting sick were the people across the big lake, you know. But now, I swear to God, it's non-stop. Kids are dropping out like flies out of our hagwon. Last week, we had literally, probably we were running at a 50% capacity, maybe 60% capacity. There's so many kids missing, and it doesn't stop. Some of them, excuse me, some of them are coming back, but then other ones are leaving again. And in numbers like these, you know, it's no wonder. So for the third day, we've got numbers in the high 300,000s, man. That's massive. That's a lot of, you know. South Korea to vaccinate children aged under 11 later this month. This is not mandatory. This is something that is being offered. We'll see how long the offering will last before it starts becoming a mandatory thing. Again, I hope it doesn't, because everything is lessening. The restrictions, the travel restrictions, travel bans, or rather the quarantine necessities are being lifted, so things are easing up a little bit. I think PCR tests are being done away with as well, slowly, so things are easing up. So I hope this is not going to turn into another one of those things like you don't have to do it, but if you don't do it, then you're screwed. You know, you can't attend this, and that, and the other. South Korea will make COVID-19 vaccinations available to children aged between 5 and 11 later this month, the government announced on Monday. According to Interior Minister John Hae-chol's announcement at a COVID-19 response meeting Monday, the government will begin inoculating children on March 31st at around 1,200 designated medical facilities. The country's health authorities will take reservations from March 24th. So, if you got kids between the ages of 5 and 11 and you would like to get them inoculated, then you can do that. There are places that are registered in which you will be able to do that. But here's the problem, as there are always problems in South Korea, I mean, because nobody ever actually thinks all things all the way through. And this is where Korea falls on its nose time and time again. It was like that with the parents that we just talked about, with the Afghani children who are having a hard time. The government said, come. And they didn't run it by the parents because the people apparently need to be notified because, my goodness, it's a local threat, right? And it's the same with everything else. A rush by people to get rapid antigen COVID tests caused confusion on the first day of changes to the testing system. On Monday, Korea started accepting rapid antigen test results conducted at medical clinics or hospitals, which use a deeper nasopharyngeal swab than the widely distributed home test kits. For official diagnosis of COVID-19 effective for 1 month. Under the new system, after testing positive on a rapid antigen test, at any of the 7,588 designated respiratory medical clinics nationwide, people will be able to receive treatment, consultations, and prescriptions without having to take an additional PCR test. People over the age of 59 will immediately be able to get Paxlovid oral antivirus treatment. On Monday, clinics were overrun with people wanting tests. Some had to wait for hours to get a rapid antigen test, and some clinics halted testing when they ran out of kits. How does that happen? You know what's going on. You are changing the plans and you're completely unprepared. Man, this is the Korean system. And yet you expect your children to perform at top notch. My goodness. A director of a medical clinic, so described the scene as a battlefield. I examined 175 patients in the morning alone, the medical director said, and 140 of them wanted to take a COVID-19 test, of which 60 to 70% tested positive. Everybody's getting sick, man, left and right. Left and right. Right. Okay. We got a new president. We've got a new president. There's a new president in house. Some people like him. Some people don't like him. But the new president is a crypto-friendly guy. And I know this is not the crypto channel anymore. If you are interested in crypto, make sure to head over to the crypto market updates at 11 o'clock, which is going to start in 20 minutes. My goodness, this podcast is going on for 40 minutes already. Well, that's what happens. But so this guy, Mr. Yoon Suk-yeol, new president, I gotta get used to his name, man. Moon Jae-in is gone, Yoon Suk-yeol is in, and so he promises that crypto is gonna take over the world. South Korea has elected the pro-crypto conservative candidate Yoon Suk-yeol as their nation's next president, according to a report by the bloc, citing data from BBC's coverage. Yoon and his opposition People Power Party won the presidential election by a margin of less than 1%. Including easing the tax requirements on digital assets, investment profits. So that's one of his promises on tax for crypto. Yoon's presidential campaign featured crypto as a notable policy topic alongside his opponent. Both candidates issued a campaign-related non-fungible token, which I don't know who bought, but they did as part of their election effort. So yeah, this guy not very well liked by many, but supposed to be good for business and crypto. We'll see how well he keeps his promises. This is my skepticism, my usual skepticism towards any presidential elects or just politicians in general. Abolishing gender equality ministry premature for Korea, warns OECD. So, South Korean President-elect Yoon Suk-yeol's key election pledge of removing the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family is premature and would give the completely wrong policy signal, according to a senior economist at the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. Need water. In an email response to the Korea Herald's inquiries about the main conservative people, PPP President-elect gender policy promises, senior economist in the OECD Social Policy Division stressed that in terms of gender equality, there is still a long way to go in Korea. Yes, apparently so. Where is that thingy? There you go. That's the one I was looking for. Why misogyny is at the heart of South Korea's presidential election. Basically, because of that. Park Min-young, 29, spends most of his day talking to angry young men in Seoul. His fingers restlessly tap the keyboard, blah, 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 blah. Nearly 90% of the men this guy answers, so dozens of their messages at his desk in the center of a busy, blah, 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 Korea's main presidential candidates. Okay. 90% of these people emailing him are in their 20s and are anti-feminist or do not support feminism. So young men who are anti-feminism, and basically the reason, without reading through this, is because they believe that feminism is taking their jobs away. Equal rights and all that stuff, women going back to work or being allowed equal jobs as men, and there's a lot of young men who are quite pissed off at the fact that feminism is a thing in Korea. So I guess they voted for him because he's going to be getting rid of that. What else can we expect? Car makers press to accelerate transition to EVs under Yoon administration. So that's what we're looking forward to. Domestic car makers are expected to face greater pressure to accelerate the electric vehicle transition under the incoming administration, as the president-elect has pledged to ban new registration of international combustion engine vehicles starting 2035. What? Ban registration of international combustion engine vehicles in 2035. So we still have like 13 years to go to tackle climate change, according to company officials Monday. But I thought our world clock is like on a ticker, and it's 7 years left before shit hits the fan, basically. But that's what we got to look forward to. Here, President-elect Youth Savings Program draws concern. A government-assisted installment saving product being planned by the President-elect to support young people is drawing keen interest, but it is also fueling concerns that it will cause bigger problems than a similar one already introduced by the Moon Jae-in administration. The envisioned product translates as Youth Leap, is aimed at helping young people save up to 100 million won, or about $80,000, over the next 10 years. While the Moon administration's existing Youth Hope product offers young people a maximum of 10% in interest returns annually for the next 2 years. So I guess I'm not exactly sure how this would work. Maybe they've got some investment or something like that. Both programs are open to those aged 19 to 34, but Yoon's Youth is available to more people since it does not impose restrictions on annual salary as in eligibility criteria, whereas so I guess you register, and if you get like if you make below 36 million won a year, you get what, 10% kickback return on your investment or something like that, something of that sort. But there's a program on the way that's hoping to make people richer in the country. Good, I guess, especially the young people. Here's an interesting bit of information. 0.2% of Koreans avoid meat. Vegans even rarer, study finds. Very few vegans in Korea, and most Koreans consume meat because Korean cuisine is so heavily meat-based. It's very difficult to find something without meat. Somebody told me a funny anecdote just the other day. They went. He's a vegetarian. My friend, my friend told me the story. He's a vegetarian, and so he went to the place, to a kimbap place, and explained to them how to make a vegetarian kimbap, and so they made it for him. And the next time he said he would like yache kimbap, which is a vegetable kimbap, and so he did get the vegetable kimbap, and he bit into it and realized that there was a chunk of ham in there as well. He showed it to the ajumma saying, "Lady, there is ham inside," but she says, "Yeah, but it is yache." It is vegetable. So yeah, not quite what he expected, not quite the bargain he wanted to get, but that's what he got. Whoopsies. What am I doing here? Okay. That's where I was heading. We're heading towards the end here. A last one. Daewoo Shipbuilding aims to win 8.9 billion dollars in orders this year. Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering posted Monday it aims to win 8.9 billion worth of orders this year on high-end ship deals. The annual order target is up 15% from last year's target of 7.7 billion. The company said a regulatory filing. Daewoo, I think, is located in Gojedo. But since Daewoo and HHI, I'm sure do, I don't know exactly if they do, but I'm sure they do cross orders or whatever. They share their spoils, so that's good news there for the industry. There's a lot of money coming in, lots of orders coming in, and this is, I think, the second one. So Daewoo won a wacky one, and HHI had a massive order coming in, I think, just recently as well. So looks like the shipbuilding industry in Korea is picking up again, so that's good. That is good. Alrighty, well, that's it for today's podcast. Those are all the topics covered. I hope this was semi-entertaining and as well as semi-educational to some of you out there. If this is your first time here, make sure to remember, smash up the likes on the video, subscribe to the channel, share the love, share the video with everybody else. Make sure that the Live in Korea channel is on top of the list, Live in Korea. And if you are into crypto, then make sure to swing by the Crypto Market Updates channel in a little bit, which is attached to the Live in Korea channel. So if you are having a hard time finding the Crypto Market Updates channel, then make sure to scroll through the Live in Korea channel. You'll find it in the channel section. I think it's actually listed in the banner, so you can just go to the Live in Korea channel banner and you will find it over there. Because it is there. So yeah, do that. Alrighty, Lisa, thank you. Ms. RC, thank you for joining in here tonight. Everybody else, have a fantastic week, and I hope to see you next week at the same time, 10 p.m. on another fabulous episode of the Korea Podcast. Thank you again for tuning in. Have a good night. Bye-bye.